Hello and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. Today we're going to make this Driving By Just to Say Hi card from the Sale-A-Bration Driving By set. So we'll use the car and we'll use the greeting. I've also used these loose flower flourishes. I don't know if you can see, but they're hard plastic little flowers, and they're flat on the back so you can attach them down, and then they're shaped like three-dimensional flowers on the top. So that's how wide they are. So they stand up about the same height as a one of the flourishes or one of the gems or something like that. So we've got some coloring to do in this card, but what I've used is a fresh freesia card base with some of the Pansy Petals Designer Series paper with the flowers in the background, and then I used two of the rectangle stitched dies to cut out a fresh freesia mat and then to cut out the car itself. So I've used the black Memento ink to do this, and I gave it a little bit of time to dry. I've already done the greeting in fresh freesia and cut it out with the smallest of the Stitched So Sweetly rectangle dies. What do I need to tell you next? Okay, I think we can just start coloring. So I'm just going to move some of these things off to the side so I can still have the card here and move all of the colors kind of off to the side. So I started with dark So Saffron. The color in here is actually Bumblebee, but I don't have the Bumblebee blends. So I took the thin line and I just went along the line of the car. Just that one piece, just as if it's the shape of the car and it's going to cause a little bit of a shadow. So then I colored the rest of the car in with the light So Saffron. Just following around and then coming in underneath just to blend that line a little bit and come around and do the car body. Okay. So that is the So Saffron colors. And in this one I used a blue to do the windshield, and I'm not really overly happy with it. So I've got Light Pool Party just to do the window. So I'll do the window and the headlight in Light Pool Party. And then I need to use the two tones of dark smoky slate and light smoky slate, and I'm going to do the middle in the light color, the hubcaps in the light color. Just fill that in, and then I'm going to do the tires themselves in the darker color, and I'm going to leave the white wall. I know we don't have white walls anymore, but just strikes me that this car should have white walls. So we'll just keep coloring, get that all filled in like that. Oh, and I did the bumpers in the light smoky slate as well, so I'll just come back in and fill the bumpers in. Nice chrome bumpers. We don't have chrome bumpers anymore. Okay, and then I did the balloons in the light polished pink. I did two of the balloons in light polished pink, and I really like coloring round shapes because I just do circles and it fills in. You don't end up going outside the lines because you're always just doing circles. And then fresh freesia for the other balloon, and we'll just keep coloring that around just like that. And then, so basically we've got the car colored in. I'm just comparing to make sure that I actually have colored everything in that I wanted to, and I have. So let's make up the card. So as I said, we've got our, oh, you know what I haven't done? As my ivory falls off the edge of my pad, I haven't done the shadow on the ground. So I am just going to go in with the ivory, and I'm just scribbling a little bit just to create some shadow underneath the car, just like that. So now the car is done. I'm going to take my 5 1/4 by 4 piece of the Pansy Petals Designer Series paper, and I'm going to attach it to my Fresh Freesia card base. And it's a 10-fold card, so it's going to be long ways or landscape. So just drop that down like that. And I've got it, making sure I've got the opening to the bottom. Then I need to attach my car that I've just colored in to its mat. And I dimensionalize this piece. So I'm just going to line this up so that it is even and straight. And on here, the reason that I did this as a separate piece was when I stamped it straight on, I felt like it kind of needed something, and I didn't know what it needed. And I didn't want to dimensionalize this piece because I'm dimensionalizing this whole thing. So I flat mounted this onto the card like this, and I'm straight. But what it does is it lifts it a little bit because it's an additional layer, and it just brings that little bit of focus to it. So I am just going to add dimensionals to this one. And as you can tell, I am using the edge of my dimensional sheet. I feel like I hardly ever have a fresh dimensional sheet when I'm doing videos. I know sometimes I do, but I'm always seem to be using up the edges. And that's something, if you're new to using the dimensional sheets, the pieces on the edge are the exact same material as the pieces in the middle that are pre-cut for you. So you just take your scissors and snip around the edge, and you're good to go. So I'm just going to line this up so I'm even, drop it down, and I'm just going to pick it up and make sure I'm straight, because I've mentioned before I have the greatest amount of difficulty lining this up when I lay things flat down. I always have to hold them up to make sure I'm straight. So that's the card essentially built. What we need to do now is we need to add our flowers. On this card I used the large flowers, and I'm going to use the small ones on this one. And this is a sheet of the adhesive dots that you get in the paper pumpkin kits. And I've just attached these to a dot so that I can just pop them down on the card. These are just as high as the larger ones. They're just a smaller diameter. So I'm just going to pop that one down there. So now you can see the finished card. This is the version with the larger flowers, and this is the version we've just done with the smaller flowers. I'm not sure which one I like better. I like the boldness of these flowers, but I think the scale of these flowers is probably better for the paper and for the card itself. So thank you so much for watching today as I used the Sale-A-Bration set Driving By, as well as the Pansy Petals Designer Series paper. Thank you so much for watching, and let's create together again soon.